This one is near and dear to my heart. I love all my guests. They have just been tremendous and have given us lots of opportunity to understand how we can overcome challenges. But this one is a little special to me because she is a part of a program that I believe in so much, that I participate in as part of a Women in Technology Single Mothers program, helping them get certifications in cybersecurity to do what? Bring joy and hope and let their lives get improved. She wants to share her story with you today, and I think that you will be just amazed at what she has done and where she is today. So please, without further ado, welcome Dee Copelin to the audience, to the stage.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you all know what to do.
I'm honored to be here. You just don't understand what it took to get here. Even today, I had a final, and then with the final, the devil's busy because I'm like, oh my God, I'm running behind in this traffic. And I'm very punctual, so I was looking like, oh, she's gonna kill me.
No, honey, it's all good. Just take a breath. It's all good. We just get started.
Yeah.
So as we're getting started, why don't you share with our audience a little bit about your story?
Well, I'm Dee Copelin. I'm a single mother to my brilliant son, Ashton. Ashton is very dear to me because he and I have been a team since he was born. I was in an abusive relationship with his father, so he never got to know his father because of what he did to me. And I almost lost my life with him. So I had to take that situation and realize that I was bruised but not broken. And now that my son, I raised him by myself. Kudos to me. I didn't go and get the government assistance. I just had to pull myself out of bootstrap and do what I need to do. At the age of 21, I bought my first house, brand new baby, bought my first house. And also too, I have an identical twin. And there's two of me, so yeah. So yeah, she was instrumental in helping my son too. He has like a bonus mom with her because we are identical. So yeah,
Very, very close.
very, very close. And so what I had to do too, fast forward to now, we went through a pandemic, and I've been in an industry that has been a seesaw for years. And it's been a lot of layoffs, and it's always a wave with this industry. So I had to pull myself up again by the bootstrap because when the pandemic hit, I lost 3 jobs in 1 year.
Wow.
So, and then in the last job I had 2 before the pandemic, my aunt passed from COVID in April. In the same week, I lost that job. So I lost my job and aunt in the same week. So I was like, Lord, what am I gonna do? I know you didn't bring me this far to let me down, but boy, I know they say you don't put more than we can bear, but whoo, this is becoming unbearable. So, I had to just start looking at myself and look in the mirror and say, if I want it to be, it's up to me. It's still, I got breath, so I got another day I can pull myself and make this happen for me. So I start reading The Mama Mentality, and then a couple of friends got me into this network of motivation and stuff, and we do motivation and speaking. And one day I had to speak about my situation, and then and it was on your aim game. And I said, I'm an aimer, and I realized that I'm always be an aimer, and there are challenges in my life right now, but I don't have to change my aim game. I just have to change my target. So, and I became a big Mamba Kobe Bryant. I started reading The Mama Mentality. So I would get up in the morning time and just start shooting. And I started shooting. And I would aim. I said, okay, that's what we're gonna do. And I started watching Kobe moves, and I incorporated his move with my life, how I was gonna start moving. And so I started reading the book even more. And I said I know that he wasn't the best free throw shooter. So Kobe practiced all the time. When his friend was out there eating, Kobe would be on somewhere trying to improve himself. And I said, okay, that's what I got to do for myself. So my cousin, Darkenia, it was my birthday, last year on my birthday. And she called me and she said, hey, happy birthday. I said, hey, DK. And she was just telling me some stuff. And she said, okay, you need to look into this program called WIT. I said, okay. And I didn't get in the first time. Don't know why. And this year I said, I'm gonna try again. And this time I was like, oh my God, the deadline is approaching. So I got in. It was a matter of hours before she had to squeeze me in. I was like, well, Lord, if you made this for me, I'm going to go and knock down that door and tear it down. So I got up again and started doing my end game. So I shift my target, and now that I'm finished today, I know that if you put your mind to it and you're determined to do anything you want to, there's no stopping you, because I believe to succeed.
All right now. Now did y'all hear that? It's interesting that, you talk about all the trials and the tribulations you went through and the trauma that you went through, but the fact that you knew you had to keep aiming, you had to keep going, and that you were going to get through somehow. You didn't give up. You kept going. Even when you didn't get in the program the first time, you said, nope, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this again. That perseverance, the ability to not stop. We're going to take a station break, and when we come back, we're going to further have some dialogue around some of the specifics in her journey. We'll be right back.
Every story has a hidden element that is not often shared. Hidden Stories, Healed Now, with host Vicki Wright Hamilton, seeks to share the hidden gems in real-life experiences. Our guests are ordinary people sharing their stories of overcoming insurmountable odds while providing hope and inspiration.
Welcome back. So, Dee, you gave us a great synopsis of what's happened through your journey and the things that you were facing and what you went through. One of the things that I would love for our audience to understand more is that, through the trauma that you were having, even when you were in a bad relationship, what were some of the things that you did to help you to pick up by your bootstraps? You keep saying my bootstraps, which is a great analogy, but how did you pick up and keep going? What did you do? How did you overcome that?
Well, my first priority was my son, so I could not let him down either. So he was always, always first in my life to make sure that he was going to be, he wasn't going to be anything like his father. So I made sure that when he became like preteen, he gave me a run for my money. It was very hard for me because he started exhibiting behavior that if I didn't challenge that behavior, I knew that he could be just like that. So, and I can never forget that doctor. His name was Dr. Byron. And he said, you know what? I applaud you for bringing your son here, because nobody of color likes to talk about mental health. And I took off from work. I can never forget my manager, Katie Millade. She let me come in and leave and let me handle my business with my son. So I can never, ever forget how she helped me to get through this process. And lo and behold, that changed my son's life. And I said that, look, son, we are a team, and I'm not going to let anything stop us, and no behavior would come in and tear us apart, because that's what was happening. He was getting called from school. I had to take off from work. I'm like, what is this? I said that, and a lot of people in my family did not support me at all. So that was hurtful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's hard when we don't get the support that we need to help us to go forward when we know that we need it, right? And we're trying to make it happen. But, the thing that's so interesting is that you took him to the doctor. Did you have indications that there were mental health, or was it just, I got to go somewhere to seek to find to get some help?
Yeah, because I was like, the behavior became so where when he became aggressive, I knew that that wasn't my son, and I couldn't let him be like his father, because it becomes a time where you know that you have to defend yourself. And even after that's your kid, if he's coming after you, you're gonna have to defend yourself. So I didn't want to get to that point. So before we got to this point, we're gonna talk about this and see what it is. And that was a courtesy officer too, named Chris Boswell, and where he lived at my apartment complex. And I said, Chris, I need some help. And he was like the police officer, the brother that I need, the mentor. He said, D, this is what we gonna do. He talked to me too. And he talked to my son. And he said that, look, you do not want to go down this path. And so, yeah, I was like, yeah, if we need to go and take him down there to the jail, let him see what it is. And that's what we did. And he went down there to juvenile, we got him in to see what can happen if you go down this road. And sometimes you have to give your children a harsh reality, because you can't sugarcoat and think that, okay, he'll get better, it'll get better. No. So it's all about accountability and responsibility. And I always instill that in my son. I said, if I don't take care of this now, I'm going to raise an adult that I won't be able to see unless he's behind bars. And I refuse to let that be, because I invested too much in my son. Like I said, I bought my first house at 21. Didn't know how I was going to pay for it, but they gave me that house. I said, it's going to get paid for. So, like I said, if I wanted to be, it's up to me. I don't let anything stop me for getting what I want. People always say, don't live above your means. I said that I work hard and play hard, and if I can get it, I'm gonna get it. And I've always lived that way. Like I said, didn't know how I was gonna pay for the house, but I had the credit to get it. And I found a job to make sure I pay for it, because I said, I know my Lord, He didn't bring me this far. And I had a grandmother that prayed all the time. I bless her heart. I lost her in 2018, and it's last year made 4 years, 9/19, and she was born May 19th. So she would pray with me, and she called me. My nickname is, she gave me a name, Sue. So she would come, baby, let's pray. And then she started speaking in tongues, and that was my rock too. Her prayers helped me get through this situation, and with my son too. So, and now that I laid the foundation, I don't have those issues with my son, just like this.
That's awesome. How old is your son today?
My son is now 24.
Wow, 24 years old.
Yeah, he's graduating from Georgia State at the end of this year.
Praise God. Did you hear that? Graduating from Georgia State. See, both of you are going and achieving and getting those degrees and certificates and all of that. I know you are just on top of the world.
Yeah, because the doctor told me when he was younger that he had some disabilities where he won't be able to do. And that's another thing. I made sure that I didn't play into that, because I want to let him know that I do know there was an issue, but I'm going to get you all the help you need. I took him to the psychologist, went through school counselor, got him with what he needs for school. And like I said, now look where he is. I tell him the same thing. If you want to be, it's up to me. Not up to me, it's up to you. So I put you in the best schools. I'm a single mom. I would listen to Neil Bortz, who say the statistic with single moms. And I said, that's not going to be. And I listened to him. People are like, how do you listen to somebody like that? But I let that push me and said, I'm not going to be what he think. And that's what I did with my son. I said, I would not let him be something with a conservative radio person that he's going to be. And I got my son the help he needs. And I'm proud of my son. I put him in the best schools. He went to Dunwoody High School.
Awesome. Awesome. And you know that that's all about that sacrifice. But you know, it's in one of the things about it is that as we begin to talk about our children, and I want to go back to something. We're going to take a station break in a minute and then see if we have a question from the audience. But I want to talk a little bit more about, you know, naysayers. You have let the negativity drive you and be your motivation, and that's phenomenal. The question becomes that, you know, there are some people out there who are trying to struggle to find that motivation. And I'd love for you to give a tip or two to help those out there that are listening, you know, around how do I really, when I don't think I can, how do I get to the point I can? And then how did you go to get the resources you needed for your son? In terms of the doctor telling you what he was going to be versus what he's not. We'll be right back.
Every story has a hidden element that is not often shared. Hidden Stories, Healed Now, with host Vicki Wright Hamilton, seeks to share the hidden gems in real-life experiences. Our guests are ordinary people sharing their stories of overcoming insurmountable odds while providing hope and inspiration.
Welcome back. You know, I want to finish that conversation. You said something in the last segment that was very intriguing. You said that the doctor had told you what he wasn't going to be, what your son wasn't going to be able to do, but look at him today. What did he tell you and what did you do?
Well, he told me my son has ADHD because of the abuse that I sustained. So he had developmental issues when it comes to me with the stress of the abuse. And I tell women today that you need to leave your abuser. And I started to look at my life with my mom because my dad abused my mom. And I did not want to go through that again with my life because I know I pushed my mom when she was in her situation. I remember at the age of 13 telling my mom, if you don't leave him, I'm leaving. And I did. I left and stayed with my grandmother, as a matter of fact, because the abuse was too much. And I tell women all the time, you really need to leave these bad situations because a lot of times we try to get counseling to get through a bad situation, but the counseling you're going to need to get through a bad situation to leave the situation. And sometimes that we as women think that we're doing stuff for the children. It's not helping the children, you're hurting your children. So I realized that my mom staying with my father because he was the breadwinner. My mom didn't have to work. She was a housewife, had the best life ever as a kid. Everybody thought that, oh, y'all got everything. But I did. For materialistic, I was rich. But physically and mentally, I was poor because of the abuse that my dad imposed on the whole family. It wasn't that he come home, beat my mom. I have to witness that. That was trauma. You know, seeing my mom beat down where she just bloody, you know, and I had to let myself think about, okay, how did I get in the same situation as my mom? And then sometimes they do say you do pick your father. Mm-hmm. And I picked my father, and then I said, I cannot let my son get away from that situation. So when he did rape me, he tried to kill me. And then people told me too, oh, it's hard to prove rape. Won't you just let it go? No, I know what he did to me and I'm not gonna let it go. I did not let up. I prosecuted him to the full extent. They told me that, oh, the trial's gonna last a week. When I got up on that stand, we wrapped up in 3 days. And I made sure that he was gonna be accountable for what he did to me. And everybody's like, well, he got a son to raise, you don't want to send him to jail. I said that he sent himself to jail. Stop saying that what I did, because I didn't do anything.
That's right.
And I hate when people say, with you, there's never no accountability with the person who violates you, but it's your responsibility to try to save them. I can't save anybody who doesn't want to be saved, and I'm not gonna do that. And I'm like that today. I don't try to sugarcoat anything. I am no nonsense when it comes to like stupidity. I don't deal with it. That's why I was looking at somebody the other day. I made a comment, and she a local celebrity, and she put something on Facebook. I said, why as women, why do we stay with people who hurt us and publicly humiliate us all the time, but we got them right there by our side and like nothing happened? I said that you have to train people how to treat you. If I don't respect myself, he's not going to respect me.
That's right.
So, and she commented on that because I was like, you're a beautiful lady, and I just can't see why you always here with somebody who's repeatedly cheated on you, and he's a pastor, and he's supposed to be the example. For me, I just can't let anybody do that. So back to my situation with my mom. With me is that my son was having issues, and I had to go get him the best doctors to make sure that the ADHD. People are scared of meds in our community. Don't put him on that. Don't look. My son needs something. I don't know what it is, and that's the reason why I'm taking him to professionals who have gone and got their credentials, who have their doctors to tell me. And he told him, look, if you show me that you don't need any medication, I'm going to take you off. I'm not going to keep you on the medication, but you got to show me that you don't need medication.
And I think that's the key, is that he gave him what he needed to do in order to get off of that medication. And I pride you off of the fact that you took him, you responded, and then you moved things forward as we continue to make things happen. Let's see if we have a question or a comment from the audience.
Hi, good. So my name is Soraya, and first let me say I love your strength. Your strength is incredible. I love that you dug down deep and did what you needed to do. My question is, what actionable steps can you give somebody who may not carry that same amount of strength or may not realize the strength that they have, don't feel like they have any hope? They may be in a similar situation, either with the domestic violence and or dealing with a child who has similar issues as you. What would you give them? What would be the first couple of steps that you would give them to take to try to figure out what to do and how to get themselves out of that type of situation?
First of all, you got to look yourself in the mirror and dig into your inner self and go to God, speak to God. God did not bring you on earth to let anybody abuse you, to disrespect you. You got to find your inner powers and let them resonate. I tell women all the time that we can do a whole lot if we believe in ourselves. And the thing is that if we don't believe in ourselves, nobody else will. And it's like selling yourself. If I can't sell myself, nobody else gonna sell me. I'm not clearance on anybody's rack. So that's what I do too. So I sell myself every day because I know my value. And a lot of people who are in those situations don't know their value. So you gotta get in tune with yourself, and your children looks up to you. So you gotta make sure that if you're gonna be good, that child gotta be good too, because if you're broken, he's gonna be bruised. And if he's not, you're not gonna fix yourself, he's gonna stay bruised, and then he's gonna be broken too. It's gonna be a vicious cycle of broken people. And that's where that trauma comes in, where people can't deal with the realities of life. So, and if you're going through a situation with, like I said, there's a stigma out here in our community where we don't like to get mental help for our children. Do not let your child grow up to be an adult that was deprived of the help they need. Go to your school counselor. If your teacher is telling you what your child is doing, don't blame the teacher. You are accountable for your child. You're not with your child every day. That teacher is. That teacher can see what your child is doing. I myself was told that, oh, she just making up stuff on Ashton. Ashton would never do that. She probably sitting on emails to herself and said it was the teacher. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your question. I think it's, Dee, I can't tell you the nuggets that you have given to the audience today because it is so powerful from the perspective that you're right, that, we put a stigma out there that we don't need to have. And we have to help to correct that behavior. But we first have to admit that the behavior exists. And we know sometimes the acceptance of certain words are hard for us. You know, when we say mental health, people go, oh, you're crazy. Mental health does not mean that you're crazy. And the bottom line is that a lot of our mental health conditions really come from what? A chemical imbalance.
Exactly. If I break my toe right now and I go get help, I'm crazy for getting my toe help?
Right, exactly.
What's the difference in your
And the
brain?
mind, that's right.
It's
And
no
so-
different.
Exactly. And so I think that's what's important in the messages that we've left here today. I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show today.
I'm so glad to be here with my favorite diva.
Thank you. Can you all join me in thanking my guest today?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Hidden Stories Healed Now, where we tell those hidden secrets to help everyone heal. See you next time.